This one, I like to talk about a couple of things. I like this clip, one, for simplicity. The shot is very simple to follow, even though it's very complicated. The second beat of this is it's really good about how it passes focus between characters. So if you're going to animate a multiple character shot, this has some really great, interesting examples of how we can pass focus between two characters. I always think of passing focus kind of like people juggling. You ever see people like juggling and then they like toss the balls back and forth to each other? I always think of like attention in an animated shot kind of like that. So one character is talking, you just picture them, they're like a juggler. They're juggling, they're juggling, they're juggling, they're juggling, and then the other character is standing over there waiting, and then this juggler tosses all the balls to that other person. And then they catch them, and then they start juggling. The act of throwing the balls to the other person in this example is tossing the audience's focus from this one character to this character, saying, hey, follow along, we're going over here now, this character is going to do something. This is just a really simple example, but we need to do that when characters are interacting with each other. If they start competing with each other, the audience gets lost and we don't know where to look, and it can be a real issue because then the shot basically gets lost. Something really important could be happening on one character, but everyone is paying attention to this character, and then an emotional beat will not land. So we need to come up with interesting ways to pass that focus through gestures and such. And there's a lot of great stuff in here that is, once again, my favorite word, very specific to the situation they're in. And they're always different. They're not just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So this is a very complicated scene. There's four characters interacting with each other. And we need to be able to track what is going on between the three of them in a simple manner. That's the big thing. We need to keep it simple so the audience can follow along. There's a lot of great moments here if we kind of start going through this.
Map in front of this particular crew demonstrates a level of ineptitude that borders on the imbecilic. And I mean that in a very caring way.
Imbecilic, did you say?
There's a very simple one. She does a gesture. She points at Dr. Doppler. Then he starts acting. She's basically telling us with her gesture, hey, look over there. Then we have an interesting talk where he starts leading forward and then he leans into her, which then throws focus back to her.
Foolishness, I've got.
May I see the map, please?
Here.
Fascinating. Mr. Hawkins, in the future you will address me as Captain or Ma'am. Is that clear? Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, ma'am.
That'll do. Gentlemen, this must be kept under lock and key when not in use. And Doctor, again, with the greatest possible respect, zip your howling screamer.
Captain, I assure you,
Same thing, lean in. He starts talking. The interesting thing about this exchange, because she wants to be dismissive, is he starts talking and then she just walks by him. That's a distinct choice. She's making, or the animator is making that choice for a reason, to show that that the character is being dismissive to the other.
Let me make this as...
And then she interrupts him. You can play this off sometimes where the character will just start talking while the other character's mid-sentence, and that will be a nice, clean way of interrupting them. But the act of doing that also pulls focus over to the other character. So when a character is going to be interrupted, we obviously don't want to do anything super important with them, because the key thing here is for the audience to lose interest in that character very, very quickly and change focus over to the character that is going to be pulling focus from the interruption.
Monosyllabic as possible. I don't much care for this crew you hired.
This is one of those lovely little gestures. She happens to have one of these like protractory things, and she's holding it. She's doing all like kinds of little great stuff with it. You might as well use that to point because it's very specific to the situation that they're in. And after she does that, then he does his little spiel thing.
You hired. They're...
He does that little take, and then once again, that head gesture comes forward and throws focus back to her.
How did I describe them? I don't know. I said something.
Then we do the standard. This is like the standard thing we would do with characters, the look over, and that leads the camera tilt, and then we reveal another character.
I said something rather good this morning before coffee.
A ludicrous parcel of driveling galoots, ma'am.
This character is a big rock guy. He never moves until he bends forward. And why does he bend forward? He bends forward to send focus back to our female cat in the middle.
There you
He's
go.
also doing, this is like one of those great little moments. I always notice it when I'm watching this. She's not distracting, but she's still alive. She starts doing whatever they do. I don't know what they're measuring on those charts, but she's measuring something. It's something that you have seen in movies. It's really believable to the situation this character is in, but it's not distracting. So it's a nice keep alive on this character. Just a really nice choice.
Care for this crew you hired. They're, how did I describe them? I don't know. I said something rather good this morning before coffee.
A ludicrous parcel of driveling galoots, ma'am.
There you go. Poetry.
Right there. And then we gesture back. So they do all these great little exchanges. They toss focus back and forth many, many times, but they never repeat themselves. And it's always interesting. And it's always generally something specific to the situation they're in. So if you're going to do a multiple character shot, I would like you to pay attention to your way you pass focus between your characters. Try to keep it interesting. And once again, for the 1000th time, I'm sorry, specific. I really don't like vanilla bland first thing that comes to mind acting choices. I think we can do better than that.